Next week, I'm doing a test in Northern Ireland at the Kirkestown racing track. So come along for the ride and see how we do it. So we're in Liverpool.
Is that water from there?
Yeah, that's for you.
Oh,
that's what I said at the start.
I knew you said you had water.
I hope you can see the boat. It's like over there somewhere. Anyway, at Liverpool, waiting to get on now. So this is the inside of the room. We've got bottom bunk, top bunk, both sides.
Cozy.
Yeah, Bert's getting all set up. So we're inside the ship's home cinema. Ship cinema. That's cool.
Team Dolan and the face.
I dare you to jump in. I dare you to do a flip. Cameraman for me. That's recording already. Let's try and get some of that view in. Near-death experience, the rain.
Understeer, oversteer.
Yeah, bit of that.
Testing the booking.
I could do a second video from this clip, just explaining understeer and oversteer.
You can do.
How to go swimming in UKA.
Sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you. Sometimes I feel like saying, Lord, I just don't care.
So, it's future MRG now. Let me explain to you guys a little bit how we go about the coaching. So first of all, as you can see here, I'd only just met Isaac for the first time, our young Brazilian driver. So I was driving around in my road car, the KA, the famous KA, showing him all the lines of the track and talking him through a little bit the difference between wet lines and the dry lines for Kirkestown. Of course, every track's unique, so that needs to be gone through. Then the way that we structure each day is I'll go first for a run. Now, it's normally 2 runs of 12 laps. So kind of first 12 laps is obviously get into it, start the day, especially first day of the test, might have to get my eye back in, and then kind of see what lap time I can do. Where the car's kind of lacking, then we might do a little setup change, and then I'll fully go for it then in that second run, quali run spec. So then we've got a really good delta. Now Isaac will then, or said driver, will then drive all throughout the day, and at the end of the day I'll have another run just to see how much track conditions have changed, whatever. Obviously if we only use one set of tyres throughout the day, they'll then have worn down a fair amount, so we'll see what sort of difference that will do. And then we've got 2 great bits of data from myself, and then including the 100 laps, which is normally the target for the driver who's in the main part of the day. So that's kind of how we base it. And whilst after my first run, and when he's on track, I'll be going around all the different corners, and so will Bernard, the team owner, who realistically is probably the best driver coach out of the lot, just because of his experience. But we'll just go around to all the different corners and watch it firsthand, and then obviously we've got the cameras as well on the car, so we can see exactly what he's doing, and then we can also see through the data exactly what sort of speed he's carrying where versus relative to myself. And yeah, that's how we do it, and then we'll then be picking up key points where we can improve and going from there.
Okay, whenever you're ready, go.
Yeah.
So this is what the start of one of my runs looks like. I've just picked a random one on a day where the track was quite inconsistent. As you can see, I'm driving down the pit lane. I've just splashed myself in the face with a puddle whilst trying to change my brake bias. Now this is after finishing the warm-up lap, the out lap, onto my first push lap. I've had a big lift through Debtors, which is this left-hand corner, as you can see. I'm braking nice and early for the first corner for Colonial. As you can probably tell, I'm trying to treat the track like it's still wet. So I'm driving with a lot of caution and using wet lines and braking quite soft as well. This is because at the minute it's really unknown. At this point it's really shocking me how much grip I've actually got. As you can see here, through the chicane, I completely missed the curbs, whereas in the dry, you'd be all over both of them. And even my gear changes, I'm just taking my time, going nice and slow. So going into the hairpin, I'm in the middle of the road, stay off the rubber from the dry, so then in the wet I can have more grip. Whereas if you brake on the rubber in the wet, it's really slippery. On the exit now, switch back in it to maximise the traction. And you're now going to see the difference in approach. So as we swap now, this is about 10 laps later. So I'm on my last push lap out of my 12 lap run. And as you can hear through Detters is now flat. As you can see, fully committed through there because it's now low risk. My approach has completely changed. So Colonial, I'm driving it as if it's fully dry corner now. Of course, the setup is a bit of a hybrid between wet and dry, so it wouldn't be handling exactly how you'd want it in the dry, but Fisherman's as well, pretty dry through there. That looks like it would do normally. And the chicane, I remember this day, was really slippery still. So as you can see, going over that right-hand corner, I was just losing the rear a little bit. And that wasn't even committing so hard on the entry. But then on the left, you still couldn't take any curb, because if you did, you'd just be sliding all over the place. But now hairpin, I'm back braking where you'd brake in the dry. Maybe a little bit earlier and a little bit softer, but more or less similar. And then on the exit, still having to hold it tight to keep that traction. So now as I'm coming into the pit lane, I'll swap over to the visor cam as I turn off the GoPro always as I'm coming into the pit lane. So now I'll swap to the visor cam and you can hear a little bit what I had to say. It's less technical as, of course, the track was changing always, but you get a good idea as to how the conversations go.
It's like so strange with track conditions.
Yeah.
Because it's basically dry with wet patches.
Yeah. I'm starting to spit there now as well.
Yeah, I noticed that on my end lap started spitting. Issue is, say I went forwards on the bias, one click, it's like half a turn, and straight away into Colonial was like a wet patch on like the racing line.
Yeah.
So you literally just can't. You gotta have the bias still on the wet settings. Because as soon as even that half a click, it's not like a big lockup, but you know when it's like a under rotation.
Yeah.
Just like going really slow.
You want to lead them down now, you know?
No.
Then it's Isaac's time to drive. Whilst he's on track, like I previously mentioned, me and Bernard would go around the corners and spectate what he's doing in the car. Then with this onboard footage that you're watching now, we could pick up little points, just like how he drives to Colonial here. For example, on this lap, I feel like he's used too much steering lock. And could do a better job of rotating the car if he used the brakes on the way in instead of trying to do it all on the steering wheel. So I'd give that information and then he'd progress his driving and adapt it to this, for example. Which would then result in improved lap time, and also he won't be battering that front left tyre as much. This is a small example of one input in one corner, which isn't even perfected yet. But obviously, throughout the lap, there's lots of things where everyone can improve, including myself. But not everything goes to plan. For example, here, we were so on the limit with the fuel, so I'm a bit on the heavy side, that once I crossed the line to finish my final push lap, this happened. Unfortunately, you can't see much as I messed up the visor cam angle, but I'd run out of fuel literally after crossing the line, and I managed to roll around half a lap before running out of steam. got out and pushed it for half the straight, and then luckily Joe came to save me in his van. After refueling, I got back to the garage just fine. Another moment that didn't quite go to plan was a slow puncture.
There's no real way you can make it bigger unless you sort of
Yeah.
You can pump it up so it hisses more.
Then there has to be the moments that testing had to be stopped. First, for this crazy downpour, honestly, the camera doesn't do it justice. Or even better, for this guy to land his plane on the back straight. Only in Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
Then there are some outright crazy moments, like this self-driving Mini.
Look at his head, look how funny it is.
Or, my favourite of all time, Bernard getting his hand stuck in the race car. I normally wouldn't have recorded it, but I think he took the mickey out of me, so I chose to get him back with filming this moment. Sometimes in racing, get your hand stuck in the race car.
Getting stuck into a whole new level.
This is how some pornos start. So that's it then. I'm at Belfast now, at the port. Gonna catch the ferry back to Scotland and then drive down for the next adventure. So not sure if I'll do a video of that, but yeah, if you watch all the way to the end, thank you very much for watching. About to board the boat now.